Hey, buddy. You want to say hi? No, he's got a bit of camera shyness. That's okay. On to the point of this video. There are approximately, give or take, an infinite number of YouTube channels surrounding running, and the majority of them are run by people with years or decades of running experience, and they're out there running sub 3-hour marathons or killing Ironman triathlons or ultra marathons, or, maybe they just look absolutely jacked and they're just posting videos of them running with their shirt off and they get lots of views. That is not this channel. This channel represents someone who is fairly new to running within the past year. I'm training for my very first marathon. I'm definitely not absolutely jacked, and I am learning everything as I go. With the support of this guy, of course, and my fiance, and the cat is around here somewhere, but he probably won't come onto the camera. I'm currently on week 12 of my training plan, and I am about 7 weeks away from my very first marathon. I know that may seem like a long training plan. I think the standard is maybe around 12 weeks, but keep in mind it's my first one, so I decided to ramp up quite slowly in the beginning, trying to avoid getting injured. If you're someone who is new to running or you're thinking about getting into it, then I think this channel and this video may be useful to you. I know when I started running, I wish I had more videos on my feed of people who were new to the sport, talking about their experiences and their challenges and how they solve them, rather than just seeing the pros who have been doing it their whole lives and just watching them eat over like 3,500 calories, what I eat in a day running 500 miles a week type videos. So this video is more so my mindset, my challenges, and my experience as a fairly new runner training for my very first marathon. So if that sounds interesting to you... Excuse you? Yeah? That's kind of rude. If that sounds interesting to you, then be sure to like this video, subscribe, so you can follow the journey along the way. Now, of course, there are a multitude of things that I could talk about, but today I'm going to focus on fitting training around my full-time job as number one. Number two is nutrition. Number three is navigating the long run. I'm at a point in my training where pretty much every run I'm doing is the longest I have ever gone, so each one comes with a learning opportunity. Let's go ahead and start with the training schedule balancing act. Now, as I'm getting deeper into my marathon training, fitting in the weekly training runs becomes very challenging. Now, at first, it's not so bad. You're running maybe 3-4 miles as an easy run, maybe a little bit of tempo work here and there. But now that I'm deeper into the build, it's actually 6 to 7 mile runs throughout the week, plus the double-digit long runs on the weekend. So fitting those weekly training runs around a full-time work schedule can be difficult. Now, the ideal scenario, and I think the one that is probably promoted most online, would be wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, get the run done before everything else, and feel on top of the world. Now, I am definitely not a morning person, probably the most far you could be from that. Ever since I could remember, I have struggled to get out of bed. I will procrastinate and press as many snooze buttons as I can, or as many as I can get away with, and then roll out of bed and just kind of rush to get the day started. That's kind of been my existence so far as a human being. So waking up super early to run is not necessarily on the top of my to-do list or the top of my feasibility list. Maybe one day, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe it will, and I'll post a video about how that went. But for now, most of my weekly training runs are happening in the evening after work. And that comes with a number of challenges because it is the summer. Currently it's August, so the past few months have been quite hot, even here in Michigan, believe it or not. So in the evenings, it's still lingering heat from the middle of the day, running an 80, 90 degree heat. I know some people are going to be like, that's nothing. It's 110 degrees where I live all the time, but it's still hot either way, and it's quite humid as well. So compared to the cooler mornings I'm sleeping through, it becomes much more difficult to run in that kind of weather. And it also means that my dinner is getting pushed back quite late because I don't want to eat dinner before my run because I don't want to have that digesting while I'm running. So I will choose to run for an hour or so and then come home. I have to cook, then I have to eat, and then I have to clean. And then by the time all of that is done, I just kind of feel like winding down for the night to start it all again the next day. So definitely room to improve my routine in that sense. But like I said, it's the one I'm in, and it's maybe the one that I'm going to be pushing throughout this block. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll keep you updated on maybe I can improve it. I'm calling attention to it here, so maybe I can work on improving that. But also, exercising and eating closer to bedtime can make it harder to fall asleep and to stay asleep and get quality sleep because of two reasons. One, the exercise raises your heart rate, so that makes it harder to fall asleep. You're supposed to have a lower resting heart rate. And then also, the eating also lifts your heart rate because your body is expending energy to digest the food you just ate. So sleeping becomes more difficult because your body's working harder than it's supposed to on digesting rather than repairing itself and preparing for the next day. So like I said, maybe I will settle into a better routine and I will let you know when and if that happens. Anyway, the next topic is nutrition and fuel. Now, this is a big one. I never did quite figure out how to feed myself properly as an adult human being. This is just something that I never learned. You'd think that they would have taught us that in school, as like a major life skill that you need to survive. But, I know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and I know the Pythagorean theorem. So, and I know what a derivative is. So these are things that, I guess are important, more so than knowing how to feed yourself properly. Okay, all joking aside, I am still figuring out how to eat well, trying to work on not eating as many processed foods and eating more whole foods and getting good energy out of the food that I eat. Especially now that I'm running, over 30 miles a week, I do have to take this fueling much more seriously. It's very easily to, at least for me, unintentionally underfuel. When you're very active and running many hours a week, your body needs a lot of energy. And if you're just eating the same way that you were before you started exercising, it's not going to be enough, likely. So especially for me, because it's very easy for me to fall into a scenario where I feel like I should eat something. Maybe I'm getting a little hungry, a little low energy, or maybe I just know I haven't eaten much today. And I think, I don't really know what to eat, so I'll just eat later. Or, I don't really have much food in the house because I didn't go grocery shopping, so I'll just wait until it's later and I'll go get something. I'll pick something up, get takeout or whatnot. So I'm trying to break those habits. It's a work in progress, and I think it's going to continue to be a work in progress for the foreseeable future. So we're working on it. This is something that I am intentionally paying more... Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on. Up. You silly guy. Come on. Yeah. Now you want to say something? That's what I thought. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? This is something, the fueling, is something that I am intentionally trying to pay more attention to because I have noticed that some of my runs have been felt lower energy, like I have had less to give during the run, or that I'm feeling more depleted by the end of it. That goes for the weekly runs and the long runs. So I need more and better sources of fuel in order to properly recover and in order to fuel the performance of my training. I will likely revisit this in future videos to provide updates on how that's going. Now, the last point of today's video would be a beginner's perspective, mine particularly, on navigating long runs. Now, up to this point in my training, the longest run that I have done is 15 miles. I just did that one yesterday. Some long runs have gone better than others. The 15-miler went great yesterday, and I'll talk to a bit about why that is, but it was probably one of the best long runs that I've had. But getting back on track here, historically, the long run for me this summer, the way that it feels comes down to primarily temperature. When I do the run. And this is something that I am glad to have really picked up on, and something that I'm really trying to work on improving is, especially in these hotter months, getting up earlier, which is a point that I already covered, but this leads to the weekend. You know, during the week, I'm probably not waking up early enough to run before work, but on the weekend, it's a bit more flexible. And so I'm trying to wake up earlier and get on the road or on the path before the sun really picks up, before the temperature climbs and the sun's radiation gets really intense. Because on the long runs where I go out a bit later in the morning and the sun is already up and it's already quite hot, I'm already sweating by the time I get out of my car, then that run becomes quite challenging because I overheat very quickly. And I'm carrying a bottle of water, but it's not helping very much. And I just get to a point where my heart rate is just shooting through the roof, even though I'm trying to run at a controlled pace. And I just feel myself baking in the heat. And it's no bueno. Es ist nicht gut when that happens, because the run just, you hit a wall a lot earlier than you should. And then the rest of the run, once you do hit that wall, is just, okay, I got to run the next quarter mile, make it there to the next patch of shade that I see, and then sit down or catch my breath, try to cool off for a few minutes, then run another quarter mile and just kind of crawl to the end of the run. And it's just not great. It's not the purpose of the training to do that. But we get through it, and we just try to do better next time. So if you're someone who is newer to the sport, and you are facing these challenges, or you have yet to, but you can avoid them, then I hope this is a point that can resonate with you. Try to get out there earlier. I know it can be hard to wake up early. Trust me, I know. But it's well worth it, because getting back to why yesterday was so great, I got out there earlier, and although it was quite humid, the temperature was not as high, and the run went great. I did not overheat. I was sweating quite a bit, but I had plenty of fluids, and I stopped to refill my water at some drinking fountains, strengthened my immune system by drinking out of those rusty, dirty drinking fountains. And we made it through the run. And fueling during the run is also something that I have been figuring out. When I started this training block a few months ago, get out of there. Come on, Percy, up. When I started this training block a few months ago, that's a good boy, I was kind of underfueling my long runs because I was taking these GU gels, the GU gels, and don't love them for a few reasons. One, they have less than 25 grams of carbs in them, which is not enough in my experience, and from what I have researched. I'll get to it. But less than 25 grams of carbs, which means if you're taking them every 30 minutes, you're only getting about 50 grams of carbs or less per hour. Whereas I'm trying to hit about 60 now, which I know is not a huge difference, but I have noticed that it does help to take 60 grams of carbs per hour or 2 30-gram gels per 30 minutes, which I'm doing now with Precision Fuel gels. They're 30 grams of carbs each, and they are also much easier on my stomach. I was having some unfortunate digestive issues when taking the other gels. I think longer ingredients list, they've got all those artificial flavors in them, and just, I didn't love it. So now taking these Precision Fuel gels, and they're helping quite a lot. I do enjoy them. The only downside is that the opening is quite small, so it's a little hard to get the gel out. But regardless, I've also, just this last run, experimented with caffeinated gels. I took 100 milligrams of caffeine gel with 30 grams of carbs. It was another Precision Fuel, but this one caffeinated. And I took that about 90 minutes into my run. And for the last hour of the run, it felt great. I really woke up, I focused, my mental clarity was there, it was strong. And although my body was tired, I was able to keep going consistently at a pretty solid pace for me. And I do think the caffeine helped with that. Now, it could have been placebo, but regardless, as long as my stomach can continue to tolerate those caffeinated gels, then I will continue to use them as part of my intra-run training strategy. Now, of course, there is a lot more that I would like to cover about my training experience so far and what I have to look forward to in the next 7 weeks. And I will continue to elaborate on these points in future videos, but I think that's a wrap for this one. So if you made it to the end, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.